it's like you're never blinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like you're holding your breath the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a review of 1917. I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna.
Today we're gonna do a review of a movie that is nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Award. That's part of our series of reviewing and watching every movie that is nominated. We're doing 1917 today, a movie that we watched yesterday.
Right.
And so it's still fresh in our mind. We have thoughts. We want to share them with you guys. But for those of you who don't know, the way we do these reviews, we do them in two parts. The first part is spoiler-free. So we'll
Spoiler-free.
discuss without spoiling the movie for you if you haven't seen the movie and would like to go see it at some point. And then the second part is with spoilers. We go deeper into some of the scenes that we enjoyed and spoil the movie. But don't worry, if you don't want to get spoiled, we will warn you once we get into the spoilers section. Before we get into either of those sections, though, let's just discuss a little bit of facts about the movie. So, 1917, a movie that was produced by Sam Mendes, Pippa Harris, Jane Han Terragan, Callum McDougall is on my mind, Brian Oliver, and distributed by Universal Pictures. The movie came out on December 25th, 2019, Christmas Day.
Right. It's the second one, right? That's on this list. I think we had...
from last year?
Yes.
Yeah, Little Women was also on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
a Christmas release. So, just at the end of the year there, sneaking in for the award season, fresh on the mind of the voters. They do that on purpose.
Snatching a place on that nominees list.
They do it on purpose. They do it because they know that it's, fresher and people remember the movie. And so when it's time to vote.
Oh, that's why. That's why I thought it would be better to have it like
earlier in the year.
Earlier, because then it gives people more time to like see how the movie is doing throughout the year. I don't know.
And then sometimes you forget,
I guess, but I never thought about that.
So the movie is directed by Sam Mendes. The whole movie, the idea came from stories that Mendes' grandfather would tell him. Alfred Mendes, who was a native of Trinidad and a messenger for the British Army during the First World War. And so his name is at the end of the movie there. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed the notice, but I didn't know that it was
his grandfather.
Like his grandfather, I didn't, because I didn't know the name of the director actually.
Yeah. So yeah, it is, and it says in memory of Alfred Mendes, who brought us all these stories, something like that. I don't remember the exact phrasing.
Oh, that is so nice. Like, it's interesting. I think it makes it more interesting because it feels like more personal. Telling partly or like developing it from the story that the stories that his grandfather told.
Would tell him as a child, and he makes it clear also that it is based on stories. This is not a real story. A real story. Right. This is not true events.
I see. I mean, I still feel like it holds that like personal attachment to it.
The movie stars George McKay as Lance Corporal William Schofield and Dean Charles Chapman as Lance Corporal Thomas Blake. I only picked these two names because they were really the main elements, the main actors of the movie. There are other interesting actors that are kind of surprising to see there, and I'm not gonna go into who they are, but
one thing though, the actor who plays Blake, you know who else he plays?
Who?
Because I thought I recognized him, so I looked it up. Who else he played? Tommen Baratheon.
Oh yeah.
It's different because he's grown. Like he was much younger. Like he changed, but I thought I recognized him. It was on my mind. I was like, I recognize this face. Just who? So I looked it up. Actually, I was curious.
Yeah, he looks totally different. Yeah. But when you say it, I see his face, and I'm like, oh, of course, it's him. That little breath. Oh, well. The movie, one of the big takeaway from the movie that everybody has is the way it was filmed. It is filmed using long takes and editing to make it seem like it's one continuous shot the whole time.
And it creates like an amazing effect, I feel.
So the aim was mainly to like get you immersed into the story, make you feel almost like this is a two-man's journey, but you're the third person there.
Yeah, like you're there right behind them all the time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, throughout the whole movie, it's made to look like it's one shot, though there are some parts where you're like, yeah, obviously you cut there.
You can tell.
And then there's one that is clear cut. We'll get into it more on the spoiler section, but the movie made $252 million out of a $90 to $100 million budget, so it made its money back. Not the biggest blockbuster out there, but that's not what it was trying to do either. It really did well in terms of critical reception. It is nominated for 10 Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah, let's hear them.
Yeah, tying with Irishman and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with 10 nominations. Of course, Joker has 11, the highest number this year. Those nominations: Best Picture, Best Director for Sam Mendes, Best Original Screenplay, Sam Mendes and Christy Wilson Cairns, Best Original Score, Thomas Newman, Best Cinematography, Roger Deakins, Best Makeup and Hairstylist, Best Production Design, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, Best Visual Effect.
So, hearing this now, there are a few out there that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That it would be nominated. Like sound editing, sound mixing, even like score, like the music. But I could see this one winning.
Cinematography, I think definitely it's taking it. Best cinematography.
Cinematography
and
is like.
If I had to bet, if I was a betting man and you asked me like who's gonna win Best Picture, I would say probably 1917.
You would?
I would, yeah, probably. It's not. The question is not who would I want to win. If you ask me who I want to win, Parasite. If you ask me what will win, I'd say 1917.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get into our discussion. Spoiler-free discussion. Don't worry if you haven't seen the movie. Tell me, did you like it?
I did like it. I loved so many elements of this movie. I feel like made it so interesting to watch, so like entertaining. And one of them is first of all, it's the way it's being shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes it feel like you're just following the story from beginning to end into one long take. It doesn't leave you a moment to breathe. It feels like you're there every step of the way, which I feel like it's a thing that would get you very like anchored into the story, which I love a lot. Second thing is the rhythm of the movie. Like while you do follow it every step of the way with like no break or like no change of scenery or something like this, there are moments where like the rhythm is like accelerated, right? It's a war movie, so you get like that tension, that the danger, the suspense and all of that. But there are also like moments where like things are more relaxed, where like things are going slower. So you just move between like these two. And I feel like these two elements to me made the movie like extremely interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. So the movie definitely, for this element of the one take element, which is something that has been done before. Birdman and The Virtue of Excellence did that. But I feel like in this movie, it serves the story in a different manner, in a manner that fits it more, because it helps raise the tension, the element of uneasiness. In 1917, I mean, because there's never a cut, there's never a break. Even though there are calmer moments in the movie, like it's not always action, but because the camera never cuts, there's never like that feeling that it's like you're never blinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like you're holding your breath the whole time.
Yeah,
like it's amazing the effect that it has. I loved it.
But yeah, that's great. That's in terms of like the look and sound and feel of the movie. It's really A1. I'm sure it's going to win Best Cinematography. Was it also nominated for Best Editing? I'm not sure, but no, sound editing, but not just editing. But the editing helps with that effect that it's just one shot, you know. It's not only about filming long scenes, but it's also the way you edit them together. Another thing that I want to talk about is the performances. So we only have, like, it's not a one-man show like Joker is. Here we have two characters, but very few words spoken throughout this whole movie.
Not a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of, like, body language, a lot of, like, you know,
facial expression.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what did you think of the performances?
I mean, I think that acting in this way, you know, acting, like, playing a role like this, in which you can't express things through words that much because there's not much dialogue. I feel like it's very difficult to do. You really have to be able to transmit those feelings, to see the tension in the body of the actors, the characters, to really feel it, whether they're like walking and, you know, whatever else they're doing, to really feel that tension in their body. You have to be really good at like making the public, the viewers, like see that in your body language.
They do a great job, especially George McKay. You know, there's a lot of scenes with like just close-up shot of his face, and you can feel all the emotion. You can understand what he's thinking without him having to open his mouth.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like they did a good job with that, both of them.
What about the story? What would you...
So the story, I find it very interesting that the movie actually doesn't tell a complicated story. It's very simple. And I'm obviously not going to tell you what that story is. But it's something that, like, in a regular war movie, I feel like it's something that would only take like maybe 5 minutes, you know? And here it's like you basically zoomed in to, you know, that thing that would normally be so overlooked. And you see, like, you follow it every step of the way. And, like, you follow it into all of those moments where, like, in a blinking moment, something can happen to, like, turn the tide, to, like, change the course of the whole, like, event of the whole story. And I think that's a very interesting thing to do. That, like, from the beginning to the end, you really, like, in the great scheme of things, nothing too big happens.
Yeah.
To them, to the characters, it's everything, you know?
It's almost like a slice of life movie in which you just follow a character and a few weeks in their lives, and then at the end, you know, that's it. The movie
ends, that one event.
It's that kind of a feeling where you watch the whole thing and nothing, like you said, nothing really happens here for a large part. The events in the movie are important, of course,
right.
And it's war, so the weight of what's happening is important. But when I say nothing really happens, I mean, just like you said, this could have been 5 minutes, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
But it's stretched to 2 hours. And I don't know how I feel exactly about it. I don't know if, like, I feel like the story was too removed or if it's the opposite. And being able to tell to make a 2 hour movie out of just that simple premise is actually the genius of this movie.
I feel like I'm with the second one. It's a genius thing because also to have that talent, like, it's like storytelling, to make a story that simple, that interesting to watch, that captivating. It's art.
Because I feel like some people might say that the story is forgettable because of that.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Because of course the cinematography is superb. But is that what people are going to remember in 5 years? That's all they're going to remember.
I feel like because it was done so well, you're not going to forget it. I wouldn't forget. I don't think I'll forget it. I'll tell you in 5 years.
It was a great movie. I would definitely recommend it. You would also recommend it?
Yes, definitely recommend it.
So for those of you who haven't seen it, you still have time to even go see it before the awards. We're filming this a few days before the awards. But if you're watching this afterward, go see it anyway, you know?
Right.
And tell me if I'm right about who won. Now we're going to move on to our spoiler-filled discussion. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, I invite you to just subscribe, like the video, and then leave. Come back for our next review. If you don't mind being spoiled, then stay with us. We're getting right into it. So before we get into our discussion, spoiler-filled discussion, let's go over the synopsis quickly for those of you who might not know what the movie is about and to refresh our memory, even though we saw it yesterday. The movie chronicles the story of two young British soldiers during World War I who are tasked with delivering a message calling off an attack doomed to fail soon after the German retreat to the Hindenburg Line during Operation Alberich in 1917. The message is especially important to one of the soldiers whose brother is supposed to take part in the attack. Of course, World War I, real events. The retreat of those German soldiers strategically to switch their trench line is also a real event. The story itself, nebulous, based on the story of the grandfather, which we don't know whether or not those stories, how much of it is true. The movie was just inspired by those stories.
Was there the attack though? Is that also a real event? Like the British attack and then...
Oh, I wouldn't know.
That is not mentioned, okay.
So fiction is a fiction based on reality. I feel like I want to start with the end because that is probably the highlight of this whole movie in terms of... We will keep talking about the cinematography and the way this movie is filmed because it's really grandiose. That scene where he goes out of the trench and then run
on the battlefield, across while everybody's going forward, like that is such a well done scene.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen actually behind the scene video of how they filmed it.
Oh, really?
You just,
I want to see that.
See the camera starts rolling and he's running, and then there's all the extras, soldier running opposite side to him, and they bump into him a couple of times, and I'm wondering, like, is this on purpose? Was he supposed to bump into that guy and fall? Or is it just like you keep going with it and you keep the scene going and it adds that element of reality? Like,
right. I really want to see that. I didn't see it. I think that scene was it was so powerful, and the way he looks straight at the camera the whole time.
Because he's driven, this one goal he was given, this one mission to
and you also feel the weight of it because the message is supposed to be delivered so that he would stop the attack.
But the attack
people
already
are
started.
Already going. Like if I don't get there now, like these people are all gonna die. Like he's running through them.
Some of them are already dying. But
exactly.
All of them will die if I don't stop this now.
Like there are 1,600 people there that were preparing for the attack. So
another high element of tension is when he's going through that town that has been burned down by the German.
That is actually one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it's actually my favorite part of the movie.
And so that's also beautiful when he goes out of the house where he was passed out.
Yeah.
Which is, we were talking about one part where it's clear that they cut off when he passes out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's mainly so that they can switch from day to night.
It's because we follow him like every step of the way, but the movie is only 2 hours long. Like you can't actually follow him for what is it?
You have to have a time skip.
24 hours.
And then they have to switch from day to night also.
Yeah, exactly.
Without just keep filming they could have done, in Birdman what they do is that they move the camera and then do a accelerate,
I see. Right.
But those are different techniques. But there's a clear cut when he passes out. Then he wakes up, goes out, and the village is on fire.
The town.
The town.
Yeah, and then the flare gun, like the flares from the flare guns flying around. Like that scene, I feel it's so beautiful, so well done. I love, especially the colors. Well, like I say, colors is nighttime, so there are many colors. But like the light, the way they played with the light and the shadows, so good. The way like he runs to like outrun the flare gun to stay in the shadow so that the soldiers wouldn't see him to shoot him. That was so good. Like it was amazing.
And one thing that I really like too is that they play a lot with shadows, like you said, but also for the enemy. Because he sees silhouette of people, of soldiers, and then you're not sure, like, are these English, British, or are these German?
there's that part where like he sees across like a square or something a soldier, and the soldiers like at first he seems to be walking like just towards him, but like you can also see that soldier, like we were talking earlier about body language, like you can see the moment when he realizes that's an enemy, like you can see how his body like language changes.
Because he's not Chorito, he just sees the silhouette.
He kind of moves like this to look like, who's there? Like, what kind of uniform is he wearing? And then when he realizes it's an enemy, he starts running towards him. And then he starts running away. Like, so good, like, so well done.
There were a few things that, like, I want to touch on in terms of criticism. One of the main element for me is that Thomas Blake's character, well, Thomas Blake is the character, Tommen dies, which was surprising and not surprising, you know, like I didn't expect him to die that way. Like they just turn around and he's dead, and I was like pleasantly surprised. I don't want people to die necessarily, but like I was like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that. And now it's just the other guy alone, because it happened so early in the movie too. He dies, and then it's just George Mickey's character alone for the rest of the movie. Well, he gets some help, but like her alone doing this mission, that kind of takes away all sense of danger. I never once thought he's not gonna succeed.
No?
Or even not gonna succeed, because maybe he gets to the end, and I thought at worst the Commander Mackenzie would not listen to him, you know?
Or he would get there too late, or
something like that. But I never once thought he's gonna die before
he reaches
reaching the destination, because there's only him.
I see. Yeah, that's true. Like I was also thinking.
And so there's all these high tension scenes, you know, where he's hiding and he's getting shot by like 2 German soldiers, and the bullets are like barely scratching him. And when he falls in the water, and you're like, oh my god, is he gonna drown? No, he's not gonna drown. You know?
Yeah, that's true. No, you know what? Actually, when he fell into the water, is the moment when I thought like, oh, maybe this is like his mission is over. I don't know if he was gonna die or not, but I thought, is that the direction he's supposed to go into?
Yeah.
Because then I thought maybe the movie will end when he just like the water brings him someplace, and then the war happens like in another place, and there's no way he's gonna make it back now. Like I thought that was a possibility.
No, like I thought for sure he's gonna make it. And there was like a thought that came into my mind when he first met the other group of soldiers. I thought, oh, maybe he also dies, and he just someone else picks up the letter and like continues the mission. But it's clear quickly, because he stays with those soldiers for a few minutes of the movie, and then he's alone again, and it's clear that oh no, it's just gonna be a one-man story from this point on. And so there is no way he dies.
Yeah.
Because there's still an hour and a half left to this movie, and he has to get to the end.
There is one scene that I want to talk about. And that is the opening scene, the first scene, where like we see the two of them sitting by the tree. And I really like how it starts with this like, I don't know if you noticed, but like the colors of that scene, it's like almost ferric. It's not only just like bright and colorful, but it has this like really warm, like pastel-y look to it. And then they get up and they start walking into the trenches. And as they start walking, like the colors change. Did you notice that?
Oh, no.
Oh my god, like I was watching it and I was like, oh my god. It's getting more and more serious. And the coloring of the look of the movie overall, it was pretty bright, I would say. But it did change that from that nice bright pastel look to something way more intense and like heavy. It felt
grayer at points.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like that. But I could literally see it changing as they were walking. And then I saw the same thing at the end. When he walks away from the soldiers and back to the tree. The light, everything gets brighter. And
it's a nice circle way to end the movie. You know, he starts waking up after sleeping next to a tree, and he ends the movie falling asleep next to another tree.
Yeah.
Having done his mission, you know, the whole movie is just between these two moments.
Right, exactly.
And he wakes up, he never even eats, get a full meal. I think he just eats those 2 piece of bread.
Yeah, at the beginning.
And that's it for the rest of the movie. And so it's just that moment, like these few hours. How many hours did they say would be like 8 hours about?
No, I think it's more than that. Because like it's the whole night too.
Oh, right.
And they left earlier.
But that's because,
so it must be about.
That's because he passes out.
Yeah,
but they say it would take about 6 to 8 hours to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was a great movie. Like we said earlier, we would both recommend it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. 1917. I will reiterate my prediction. for the Academy Award. If either of these things happen, I'll win. So I would want Parasite to win.
Okay.
But I think 1917 will win. Watching this movie is part of our goal to watch every movie that was nominated at the Academy Award from 1927 to 2028. We were doing the 2019 movies because the nomination just came out and we wanted to watch all of them before the award ceremony actually happens. But after that, we will go back to our point in time where we left off. I think it was 1931 or something like that. So we'll start back in black and white again. And
back to the old movies.
Yeah. If you guys want to see us go through this journey of watching all these movies, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button if you like this video. Tell us in the comment section below, did you like 1917 and why? Have a nice day.
I got him.